Today we're going to talk about how digital media and digital video empowers the user. What we're going to talk about today is how technologies that advance so rapidly and so quickly, especially that of the video camera, are empowering everybody around them. It's really a step in leveling the entire elite of those who had access and those who don't. So today we're going to go over a little bit of a slight history of how we got to the point of viral videos and memes, and this will help you understand where we're going to be going with understanding the audience. In order to understand the audience, you really have to understand how we got to the point where the audience likes this, because not only are you part of the audience, but you're also a content creator as well, and that's a lot different than anything in all of our history. So what is a meme? It's a kind of a little complicated term for something that seems kind of simple anthropologically. What it means is something that's shared, or an idea, or something that is non-physical, but it's something that has been expedited by the pace of shareability. So oftentimes it'll seem as if memes are new and part of the internet, but it's not true. Memes have been around for pretty much forever. But when we talk about how memes are shared now, it's expedited by the fact that visuals and video media and digital media are actually the thing that moves them quicker. A meme is simply this. It's the tiniest, smallest bit of culture. Many times we would be able to call it just an inside joke. I mean, that's a meme, but it usually is shared with a lot more people. Now, the faster it's shared, that's when it becomes viral. It's not really, memes and virals aren't the same thing, but virals are memes. And that is important to understand because virality means it's similar to how virus gets shared, one to one to one. But you also have to keep in mind that when we talk about a meme, it's something that's often taken out of context and for us. It's something that's specifically for us. And that's when it comes from the term the selfish gene, which Richard Dawkins coined in 1974. So take this for example. Why is that funny? I mean, it's funny to us. It's funny to us alone, but it doesn't really make any sense. It doesn't have to affect a wide group of people, but you have to understand that being a meme means that it's for you, that you understand it, but it doesn't get understood unless it's been seen, and that's the important power of the image. And as we go on, we're going to talk about the importance of the image and how much this empowers you and how much ability you have now that you've never had before. So let's take some of the longest term memes that have ever been around. You're going to read an article on this that expands on this quite in depth, so I'm not going to go too far into it. This is more of a linear path to how you become empowered by it. But you have to take the term jump the shark, for example. Jump the shark we use as a term of shows that have gone a little too far, a little too crazy. Like this year's Shark Week may have actually jumped the shark with the whole megalodon thing. But it is a way that we know that it's gone beyond. But where does the origin of jump the shark come from? When we hear the term jump the shark, we don't immediately think of the Fonz literally jumping the shark. We think about it as a term, but that's the point in which Happy Days literally changed and the audience dropped almost immediately. It's a point where your audience doesn't really understand what you're doing. And this is why when I talk about memes and stuff, it's often out of context because the context itself may not make too much sense. I mean, remember the dramatic chipmunk before, which is a prairie dog, but you ever wonder where it came from?
プレーリードッグです。プレーリードッグ。かわいい。プレーリードッグって言っても犬じゃないんですけどね。いますか？犬じゃない。はい。君たちの T シャツのマークと同じリスさんの仲間。あ、リスの仲間なんだ。泣きますか？子犬が鳴くような声に近い声を出すんで。それ警戒音なんだけど、天敵が来た時、そうワシだとかそういうのが来た時に声を出すのね。その声がちょっと子犬に似てる。びっくりしてる。びっくりしてる。
The origin of that video doesn't make the video lessened, but the small out of context piece makes it funny, especially when added with the dramatic music. That's a point of making it mimetic. It makes it something that's shared, that's funny, but it doesn't really make any sense whatsoever. And so we've seen this throughout time, that things have been ripped out of context and shared, and this way it's funny. Comedy works the best because it amuses us, and it is something that we can enjoy without having to worry about other people enjoying it. Now, let's take a little anthropological tangent here and understand that this is all part of a symbolic nature, a cultural agreement that we've come across that allows us to understand media in terms of symbols and meaning, and there's something that we get from it. In the background here I put up a couple memes, so to speak, and you can actually see that there's a picture of a tree, the word tree. Now, in our culture, they both mean the same thing, the symbol and the word, and that's because we read it as tree and we see it as a picture of a tree. And here, over here, we have the haters gonna hate little meme guy, but you have to remember that we have culturally defined these things, because what really is that tree and the word tree? What is this? It is marker ink. That's it. Ink. There's no real meaning in this. This is just a tool. It doesn't have a way of actually defining meaning or giving meaning. It's just something that creates it by creating an image that we all have culturally agreed upon. And that's memes. We've culturally agreed that those things are funny, but they're funny to us. And that gives it meaning because we agreed on that. Now, YouTube didn't invent this. YouTube didn't create the world of viral videos. It just expedited the process. Social media expedites memes. It makes them go a little faster. But pre-YouTube, there's a grassroots video cam movement of America's Funniest Videos. I mean, that's the whole thing is based on the idea that grassroots video cam operators can capture a moment of time and get incentivized to turn it in by getting money potentially from it. But if you look at a video like Winnebago Man, caution, very strong language here, this is pre-YouTube.
Tony, do me a favor, will you please? Will you? Will you do me a kindness?
Leave.
Yeah.
I think I want to be walking in and out if you're going to fuck up and I got to come back.
I don't, that make any difference to me at this juncture. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Tony. Don't slam the fucking door.
Now, the way that was shared was video ops and tech ops used to get tapes, little VHS tapes, which I actually don't even have one to show you. I'm sure you remember one at some point. Those tapes would be shared memetically. They'd be viral in the sense that somebody would hand the tape to somebody else, someone would get it, and they'd share it over and over again. But it was out of context. How many people have actually seen the original industrial video that the guy was part of? Not many. It's a part of history that many people have even forgotten, to the point where who knows what that video was. You can see the movie Winnebago Man and they kind of give more of it, but it's out of context and it's funny. He's then called the angriest man in the world because he's pretty angry there. But it doesn't matter, it's funny. And that's why a lot of the videos that you would see pre-YouTube would often be bloopers, there'd be a lot of cat videos, things that would make us laugh. And that's where America's Funniest Videos comes from, is that is culturally a norm for us. The thing that made us empowered, when we got to the point where we can control the substance of the content, that's where everything changed. And that changed in the mid-90s when the World Wide Web allowed browsers to read in HTML and you could actually code. Previously, only those with the technical elite could have access to the machines, and now we have the ability to actually change it. Anyone with access to Macromedia Director in the 90s was able to create small flash animations.
Okay, so here's the Earth. Chilling. Damn, that is a sweet Earth, you might say.
And these flash animations empowered the user to create something funny, witty, important, change, interactive, CD-ROMs, but they were able to make something. The power was now in the masses' hands. When we move forward to social media, and we move forward to YouTube, in 2005, 3 guys from PayPal created a site, YouTube, and on April 23rd, 2005, uploaded the first video. From that point forward, it became a video repository. That was its first concept. It was a place to put video. It's a place to put content. Content. Keep that in mind. The word content, it's stuff. We give the content meaning, but it is content. Now that was put online, and that was able to have a place for people to share easier content that was previously sent in emails. I don't know if anybody remembers that, but there was points where you would get an email with a video clip in it. Now I'm at the point where I'm like, why don't you just send a link? You know, really, come on. Because YouTube is the place to keep all that material. And so, now we get into the age of the viral video. because oftentimes this is the videos that were made previous to the viral culture, but now we can put them online. Anything from Star Wars Kid to the Numa Numa Kid to Leroy Jenkins.
Alright, thumbs up. Ready, guys? Let's do this. Leroy Jenkins!
Oh my god, he just ran in.
To the Sneezing Panda, to Evolution of Dance, to Chocolate Rain, to I Like Turtles.
The school books say it can't be here again. Chocolate Rain.
I like turtles.
These videos, these are viral videos. They're out of context. They're pieces of culture that make us laugh. And what makes them memetic is that those who have seen it know it. Those who don't are completely left out of this cultural sphere. They're completely clueless as to the entire idea of it. They just don't understand it. That's why sometimes you'll see, let's go backwards on one. For example, let's see what happens when a meme is taken out of context and ununderstood. Here's the example of that. Pistachios commercial.
This is the honey badger. Whoa, watch out, says that bird. Oh, it's got a cobra? Geez, watch him crack it.
Honey badger does it badass.
You bet he does.
Wonderful pistachios.
He loves those snacks.
Get cracking.
Now, if you haven't seen the original of this meme, it's very confusing that this honey badger is doing anything. It doesn't make much sense. But now here is where the meme comes from, the viral video by Randall.
This is the honey badger. Watch it run in slow motion. It's pretty badass. Look, it runs all over the place. Whoa, watch out, says that bird. Ew, it's got a snake. Oh, it's chasing a jackal. Oh my gosh. Oh, the honey badgers are just crazy.
But Randall, he was empowered to repurpose material from Nat Geo in order to show his remix of what he thought was going to be funny, and that becomes viral of itself. Now, in turn, causes virality in both directions because it stems from the viral of the beginning. And that's important to understand because the empowerment there is that we have control over media and we could digitally alter it for the sake of the audience. That's ours. Nowhere else in history have we had the ability to take any type of digital media and repurpose it in that type of way. And now here comes the fun part. The part where you are empowered to make these as well. A lot of times people make virals by accident. They don't mean to. I mean, in the case of Star Wars Kid, it's actually kind of a sad story. The kid left his tape in the camcorder, his friends put the video online, and it goes viral. It's not exactly a good idea. But a lot of the times these virals are made intentionally, and you could actually see people try to make viral videos and attempt at it, and those are a lot of corporations too, trying to figure it out. I mean, look at the Old Spice guy. I mean, that's a viral concept. That's an idea that you make something quirky and weird enough, and it's shareable. And once it's shareable, it's something that's imitatable. And once it's imitatable, it becomes culturally part of the idea. And the way that Carl Jung would put it is it becomes part of our cultural unconscious. It's sort of like how you know fairy tales without having to read them, or you know Shakespeare stories without having to actually know it. That's because those are mimetic ideas. They've traveled through time. They're part of our cultural unconscious, and that's a meme. These memes come from all of our time. But again, if you're not part of that culture, the meme is meaningless. That's why it's selfish. It's for us only. It's us culturally. When it comes to repurposing or remaking something, Lawrence Lessig, the author, would call it remix culture. It's the idea that you can take media and repurpose it or remix it for your own purposes, for some goal of yours. So a lot of virals come from imitation and changing things around just slightly enough to make them into something new. And so you could see people take advantage of this. If you think about how the internet people that we've just seen be taken advantage of by Weezer in their Pork and Beans video.
I'ma do the things that I want to. I ain't got a thing to prove to you.
But my favorites are the ones that truly inspire art, truly help us understand that you could take content and repurpose it and really make it beautiful. Like the Through You series.
Okay, and let's just pick the mother of all funk chords. Let's pick a ninth chord.
these are made with existing viral videos in which people with a very good ear and a musical sense can recut content on the web to make music. And please check out the rest of them on the 3U site. It's incredible. But I think one of the best is the Pogo series. And Pogo is incredible because it takes just the sounds from the film and repurposes it to make a beautiful soundtrack to enjoy, really. It almost addictingly viral of these beautiful recuts of videos, not in the way that trailers are recut, but the way that they're recut to have a new artistic meaning. In other words, taken out of context of its original vessel, which is a film, and recut so much that it becomes a music video. Talk about repurposing. Now that's remix culture. So here's where you come in. You have the tools. You have the tools better than any other time in all of history. Part of the vlog exercise was to see that you have the ability to record. And I know this at first, I have to say, at first this is very weird talking to a camera. It's a little dot, it doesn't really do anything. But you almost get used to it. It's not like selfie, it's like really talking and trying to like get yourself across to this little thing. But you get used to it, and that's part of understanding that you have the access to talking to thousands through this little dot, this little tiny lens. The other thing was understanding that you could edit using editing software that's available. YouTube Editor, for example. It's crazy that there's a non-linear editing system on YouTube. No access like that and ever before. It's amazing that you have it. And within about 2 to 3 years, that will be a full functioning editing system, online, cloud-based completely. And so now you are empowered to create. And this is where a lot of our memes that we see in static memes, like Good Guy Greg or Scumbag Steve, or Success Kid. I'm not good at drawing, so that's probably the best I could do there. These are repurposed images that could be made like an emoticon. The way you use emoticons, a lot of people use memes, and that's because it conveys a thought. It conveys a mood more than anything else, and this is where memetics take an extra feeling. Text is impossible to send feelings through. Sarcasm is completely lost online in text. It's just words, it's symbols. But yet when you add a meme to it, especially with the witty lingo of memes, and I think you should check out the site. Remember, it's adult content, but you should check it out and feel how each meme has its own language. They all have their own mood. This way they're appropriate for certain responses, but not appropriate to certain other ones. And each meme has its own certain place. And that's why if one emotion is missing, a meme will be created to fill that emotion. And that's what's amazing about it, is that we're fulfilling our world through the idea of access. That we could complete what's missing from our physical space, our IRL space, by adding emotion to it in a visual form, visual emotion. And that brings us to our last step, which is the fact that YouTube, after being a repository, was called Broadcast Yourself. Look how clever that is, broadcast yourself. See what they did there? Broadcast yourself, or broadcast yourself. You could do it yourself. That's amazing. That's a great slogan for that site. Now, if you notice you don't see a slogan on there, it's because, as you now know, YouTube's new incentive, YouTube's new mission is to make you a programmer of channels. They want you to program channels. They want you to be empowered to control media and curate it and aggregate it to a point where you're telling the story of other people's media. You're remixing without remixing. You could remix videos and put them in a certain playlist and narrate the in-between parts because you have the ability to tell a story with other people's content, just like channel operators would years ago. Now you're in charge. And lastly, there's Vine, which is like Instagram video, but it gives you the empowerment of making short films, in-camera cuts, that are set to a limit. I think Vine is 6 seconds and Instagram video is 12 seconds. But the point is that limit gives you the functionality of capturing a moment that was once static and putting motion to it. Sort of the way the pictures in Harry Potter kind of move. They're really still, they're like, but they're moving, you know? Now you have the ability to take a picture that moves. And with Vine, it allows you to edit by keeping your thumb on the image, creates this world in which the screen and you interact and you're capturing moments. And the question then comes, are memes being created because we have access to them, Or would they have happened anyway? And that's something to ponder. It's nothing you could probably answer, not for many years. But I'll tell you where to look. Look at corporations. Look how advertisements are made. Look how things are being utilized very specifically in terms of video, visual culture. Because that is how people want to tell stories today. This brings us to our homework assignment. It's kind of fun. What I want you to do is think of a viral video that you like. None of the ones that I've shown you today, and I only showed you probably 1% of all viral videos. So take one of your favorite viral videos. And what I want you to do is I want you to tell someone, preferably a grandparent or a parent, or someone who you know hasn't seen the video. And I want you to tell them about the video. Literally explain it to them. But make sure you pick one that's very funny to you. But explain it to them like this. You can see there's this prairie dog. And the prairie dog, well, it's a prairie dog, but we call it a chipmunk. And the chipmunk, he's turning, and he turns to the camera really quickly, and there's dramatic music like dun dun dun, and you're like, holy crap, that's hilarious. And then what I want you to do is write down like what person thought, if they thought it was funny, if they thought you were weird, or if they think, why are they spending a lot of money on talking about viral videos? You know, I want you to write that down. Then I want you to show them the video, and I want you to write down the reaction after seeing it. And I want you to see the difference between hearing it and seeing it. And this gets us in the mood of understanding the audience. And take this with you and understand that this is memetic culture that we are now part of, and we're not getting out of anytime soon. So do your best, and I'll put the instructions back up on the canvas, and figure out your favorite viral video.